Joe. I'm your host, Joe Van Kampen. Today we have Tanya, our manager of organic social media, here to chat about what's new and exciting in organic social media and all things social media related. So, Tanya, welcome to the show.
Hi, Joe. I'm so glad to be here.
Awesome. So, what is new on organic social media?
Well, you know what? There's always something new with organic social media, right? So I want to talk about two things. The first one is what's actually new, and also what's not new but is still relevant. So for the things that are new, I think it's no surprise that short form video is huge right now. So we can call it something like edutainment. That's basically when you educate your audience by sharing little bits of wisdom, something that's easy to digest. I actually heard the term that's called like video vitamins, that's something short and sweet. So yeah, absolutely short form video is not going anywhere. What else? Well, I want to say that a trend that we notice across many platforms right now, and that may sound a little bit negative, but it actually isn't, and that is engagement as a way to measure success on social media is not as relevant anymore. So engagement is going down, I want to say, for many brands and influencers. That's pretty standard across the board. However, it's not a bad thing because the way we measure success on social media these days is not engagement as much, but it's about the reach. So social media is a fantastic way to reach your audience, and that's the biggest value it can bring. So as an agency, we like to see at the reach at how many users were able to see the content from our clients, and that's a fantastic way to measure success.
Very cool. So to add on to that, one of the ways that we've kind of always looked at organic social media is building engagement in order to build reach. So how do you build reach without necessarily focusing heavily on engagement?
There are so many ways to build a reach. One of the ways to do it that's not as obvious is to engage your staff, for example. If we talk about our clients that, let's say, have multiple communities, senior living communities, a great way to increase reach is to ask your staff, your team, to share your content. And this way, you are expanding your reach. However, it's just one of the ways, and really, there are so many ways to do it. So with social media, you can post organically. You can add a little bit of budget behind your content and boost your post and expand your reach this way. So that's, we have a lot of tools we can play with to do.
Very cool, very cool. I love the fact that you're talking about getting the community engaged. I also love the fact that you're also talking about educating and really heavily making sure that people are almost building that trust and that relationship with the community rather than maybe coming off as like, I don't know, salesy or saying, oh, this concession or this deal or what have you. So with the topic of educating, what are other ways that a community can get involved in their own organic social media?
That's a great question. So with our clients, that I can talk a little bit about the way we like to collaborate with our clients to provide both education and kind of entertainment to their audience. So as we know, senior living communities, they usually have people on site that can take photos, that engage with the residents, right? So they have this wonderful relationship going, and they can take pictures of all of those fun events that happen on site. Something we cannot do, right? Most of the time, we cannot go there and take that picture in that moment. So what we do on our end is educating. We create content that talks about the benefits of the services that are provided by the community, about the brand, all those wonderful educating pieces that the community would not think about doing on their end. So, and what we see is that there is that beautiful, kind of combination of different types of content that we end up with.
Right, like educating content alongside what the community is posting of, the man and the woman who stand up dancing when there's a live musician or something along those lines.
Exactly.
Those moments that we wouldn't necessarily be able to catch because we're not necessarily in that community.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. Different demographics use different platforms for organic social media. So tell me a little bit about what type of platforms make sense for your adult child influencer versus your resident themselves and so forth and so on. And how do you kind of guide people down that path, that buyer journey using organic social media?
Yeah, totally. Actually, preparing for that little chat, I took a look at the demographics of different social media platforms, just kind of like across the board globally. So the platform that most of our clients are focused on and we support them the most with is Facebook.
Right.
So, and that is actually proven by statistics that it is the best way to reach that adult child influencer audience.
Right.
So if we look at at the demographics, the peak would be around, I believe, like 35 years old. That's the peak, but it should not be a concern because that peak then goes slightly down. But the percentage of the audience for that audience that's around like, well, let's say 45 plus, 55 plus, even higher up, it's still pretty high. So comparing to other social media platforms like Instagram, for example, that percentage of the audience is higher for Facebook. So
Interesting.
yeah,
So if I'm understanding correctly, the incline going to the age of 35 is an exponential incline, and then afterwards it's kind of a gradual decline with
exactly,
not necessarily a plateau, but it's not nearly as steep as the incline going towards 35.
exactly,
Interesting.
exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So what's one of the largest challenges you face when developing a client strategy, knowing you can't physically be in that community?
We spoke a little bit about that already,
Yeah.
but obviously the biggest challenge is that we are not present in the community.
Right.
So it is a challenge, but also it is a huge opportunity because something that we as a team are thinking about is that there is a huge potential in collaborating with those people on site in educating them on the like basics of social media. How can they take better pictures? What are the moments they can capture on site that would work perfectly for social media? So there is a big potential in that, and that's something that we can explore in the future. I see a huge value in that, like if we would be able to educate people on site in creating better content assets for us to use.
Very cool. So is one of the ways you just mentioned creating better content assets and things like that. So if a community was to take these images and different things like that and put it into a box or Basecamp file type situation, from there your team would basically be able to take them as needed and be able to build that strategy
Yep.
and those different components. But also with that, the DCR or executive director or marketing director, what have you, actually in the community, those individuals will actually be able to take that, push it out at the same time, and regardless, you'll still have a cohesive strategy for the more corporate type style posts that you're referring to. Is
Yep.
that the idea?
Yep.
Is that
Exactly. It's kind of
very
combining
cool?
efforts to create the best social media performance possible.
Very cool. Now, when it comes to organic social media, what are some things that we haven't chatted about yet that you would want our audience to know about?
That's a good question. Actually, I think at the very beginning I was speaking about the new things, but also I wanted to talk about things that are still relevant and
Sure.
still are true for social media. So in case anyone was questioning, social media is still the best tool to raise brand awareness for pretty much any brand in the world. So again, I looked at the statistics. The current numbers say that the number of social media users is coming close to 5 billion in the world right now.
Wow.
So that's roughly 60% of the global population.
right,
Just
yeah.
think of that.
That's crazy.
So that is still true. Social media is a huge tool for brand awareness. And also, I want to talk about consistency. I want to talk about the regular posting schedule. So that is a struggle. So if we talk about a senior living community, for example, that is trying to do their social media on their own, that is a challenge that they're facing. How can they achieve a regular posting schedule? Because algorithms, they prefer that. They prioritize content that comes out at a regular schedule.
Right.
So and that is something that on our side we can help with, right? So because that's exactly what we're able to achieve. So absolutely, we still need to remember the algorithms and about that like regular posting schedule.
Very cool. Tanya, thank you so much for joining Cup of Joe. To our viewers, if you have any questions about organic social media or any of the strategies associated with organic social media, please feel free to reach out. You can reach us at info@citizen55.com or just come through to our website. You can call, fill out a form, what have you, or follow us on social media, Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and all those other good things. Thank you so much.